All right, let's begin. Let's formally begin with the session. The objective of the session is we are going to solve the past paper questions of circular measure. So let's start with question number one so that we know how to apply the knowledge and concepts of circular measure to the past paper problems that appear in the examinations, right? Let's start reading the question first. The diagram shows a semicircle ABC with center O and radius 6. We can see the center is O and the radius is 6. At times, students directly read the requirements and start solving the question. This should not be the strategy. What we need to do is we need to read the question very vigilantly, and we need to read every statement in the question, right? Just to make sure that any information is not missed. Now, the point B is such that angle BOA is 90 degree. Angle BOA is 90 degree. When we saw this angle of 90 degree, we realized that the examiner is dealing with angle in degrees. But as we know that this is a question of semicircles and circles, so we have to apply the knowledge of circular measure. Although in this particular question, our calculator can be in degree mode or radian mode, both. But for consistency purposes, for maintaining consistency, I recommend that any question of circular measure that is being dealt should be done in radian mode, because 90% of the questions that the examiner gives will be referring to the angle in radians. So over here, although it is discussed 90 degree, but ultimately the formulas that of area and arc length that we have derived, the formula of area is half r squared theta, and the formula of arc length is r theta. These formulas are based on the assumption that the angle theta is in radians. So if we are going to deal with angle in degrees, then these formulas are not going to be valid. Then the formulas that we have learned in IGCSE or O levels are going to be valid then. So in this particular case, we have to be very sure that these formulas are only possible, these are only valid when theta is in radians. So this means if we are taking theta, we have to take it in radians, only then can these formulas be applied. Now comes the question. The point B is such that angle BOA is 90 degree. We know that pi radian is 180 degree. So this means if 90 degree, then we can say it's a pi by 2. We call pi by 2. We call 90 degree in radius pi by 2. And BD is an arc of a circle. So what is S? S is the symbol of arc length. S is basically arc length. And the formula of arc length is r theta, where theta is in radians. So the examiner is saying BD is an arc of a circle with center A. So what we need to do? If there's an arc and it has a particular center, then what we do? We join the end points of the arc with the center so that a sector is formed. Similarly, BD is an arc. One point of arc BD is B and another is D. Let's join with A. So if we are going to join with A, then this would be a sector. This means that if BD is an arc of a circle with center A, then sector, the name of the sector is BAD. And the radius of the sector would be AB is also the radius and AD is also the radius, because radius is any line from the center to the arc length. So from A till B or from A till D is the radius, right? This means that if we have to find the area of the sector or the arc length of the sector, we need to find the radius of the sector. And radius of the sector is AB or AD. So how can we find AB? Before reading the requirement of the question, one thing that is for sure is we would definitely be needing the radius of the sector. Although the radius of the semicircle is 6, but the radius of the sector ABD is either AB or we can say it's AD. So if we have to find the radius, let's find AB. Now, how can we find AB is a question mark. So if we are just going to look at Let me zoom it out so that there's more space for me to write, right? And apart from that, if you're even from online from cell phone, you can just zoom in by yourself if you're thinking that it's looking small, right? So if we talk about part A or part, if you are talking about part 1 or part 2, in both the cases we need radius. How can we find the radius? We know that OAB is a right angle triangle. AOB is a right angle triangle. O is the center of the semicircle. If OA is 6, what will be OB? Definitely OB will also be 6. If OA is 6, OB will also be 6. Why? Because O is the center of the semicircle and from center to the circumference will be radius. So this is 6, this is also 6. And this is a right angle triangle. Always remember that when we are dealing with the right angle triangle, we use Pythagoras theorem. Now, how to apply the Pythagoras theorem? We know that hypotenuse square is equals to perpendicular square plus base square. Or we can also say opposite square plus adjacent square. So if we are talking about hypotenuse, hypotenuse is AB. So AB square equals perpendicular square, which is 6 square, plus base square, which is 6 square. And if you are going to use the calculator to remove, and if you are going to remove the square root will come square root of 72. Now if you use the calculator, it is 6 root 2. The length of AB is 6 root 2. So what is this? What is AB? This is the radius of the sector. This is the radius of sector. So now we have successfully found the radius. Let's add this radius to the diagram because AB is 6 root 2. Now let's read the requirement of the question. What is actually required? Examiner is saying the length of the arc BD. The length of the arc BD is required. For finding the length of the arc, the formula that we are going to follow is r theta. We know that formula for arc length is r theta. This means we need radius and we need the angle at the center. So we have already found the radius, but we have not been able to find the angle yet. So let's name the angle theta. If we are talking about the sector BAD, then angle BAO is the angle of the sector. Angle BAO, BD is an arc of a circle center A. This means BAD, the angle A is basically the sector angle that we need. Now, how can we find this angle theta? We can see that there's a right angle triangle AOB. In right angle triangle, for dealing with angles, we use trigonometric ratios. Trigonometric ratios. Those we have studied in our IGCSEs. What are trigonometric ratios? I'm not sure how you have studied. Just let me know if you have studied through the terminology of perpendicular or base, or have you studied opposite and adjacent? Can I get to know about that in chat message? Opposite adjacent or perpendicular base? Because the two ways. Some people have curly brown hair till painted black, or we also call it SOHCAHTOA. The first terminology, sine theta equals to perpendicular upon hypotenuse, cos theta base upon hypotenuse, tan theta perpendicular upon base. Sine theta opposite upon hypotenuse, cos theta adjacent upon hypotenuse, tan theta opposite upon adjacent. In place of perpendicular, we write O, the opposite. In place of base, we write adjacent. Now, which terminology you people are familiar with? Just to let me know. Right. So you have did SOHCAHTOA. Perfect. So now we are going to follow SOHCAHTOA approach, right? So if we are dealing with over here, we can see that opposite is given and the adjacent is given. So if we have opposite and adjacent, then we can use tan because opposite and adjacent was TOA. So TOA, this means tan theta equals opposite upon adjacent. So tan theta is 1. Can we find theta? Tan inverse 1. Just use the calculator, convert it into radian mode and do tan inverse 1. The angle that you are going to get is pi by 4. You can check from your calculators, the angle will be pi by 4. So this means this angle will then be pi by 4. Now, as far as arc length is concerned, do we have the radius? Yes, we have. Do we have the center angle? Yes, we have. Now, when we have both the things, we can simply find the value of arc length. So, arc length is r theta, radius is 6 root 2, the theta is pi by 4. If you are going to multiply both, then the arc length would be 6.6643. Always remember that workings are to be done in 5 significant figures and final answer is to be given in 3 significant figures. This is particularly important because examiner caters to this and says that the students have been using premature approximation. Avoid premature approximation. What does this actually means? Approximating before the right time. So the examiner has required the final answer in 3 significant figure. So if you have started finding the 3 SF figures from the very beginning, let's suppose you people converted the pi by 4 into decimals and you found the 3 SF version of that. You converted 6 root 2 into decimals and you found the 3 SF version for that. And if you're going to multiply both the 3 SF versions together, the final answer that you are going to get in 3 SF will not be the right one. So if you need to ensure, even if you are willing to convert the exact angles into decimals, then it's better that if you are going to convert the theta pi by 4, you have to take 5 SF figure over here. And even from here, you have to use the 5 SF figure. And if you're going to multiply both the 5 SF figures together, the ultimate answer in 5 SF would be perfectly fine. And when you are going to round it off to 3 SF, the answer will definitely match with that of the examiners. The examiner has given 6.66. Your answer is 6.6643. But let's round it off to 3 significant figures. The answer is 6.66 centimeters. This has been rounded to 3 SF. You should always be writing to higher accuracy just to make sure and to just to let the examiner know that the answer was not initially 6.66, but it was basically more than 6.66, and we had to round it off to 3 significant figure to make it 6.66. The more clear you are, the better it becomes, the easier it becomes for the examiner to award you marks, right? So we have been able to do part 1 successfully. Now let's move on to part number 2. The part number 2 says find the area of the shaded region. Mostly, as far as perimeter is concerned, we add many lengths together. And as far as area is concerned, we find one of the areas, we find the second area, we subtract both, and then we find the shaded area. In 90% of the questions, we have to deal with such a strategy. Directly, we cannot find the shaded area. We have to use a 3-step approach. We find the total area, then we find one of the unshaded areas, and then we subtract them to find the shaded area. Now, which area is going to be the total area for us? So over here, let's plan out. If we need to find out the area of the shaded region, BOD, then what can be done? We have to plan it. So area of shaded region is equals to area of sector ABD minus area of triangle AOB. This means what needs to be done? Out of the total area of the sector, if you are going to subtract the area of the triangle, we are going to get the area of the shaded region. So this means area of the sector would be half r squared theta, and the radius of the sector is already found 6 root 2. Half r squared theta is pi by 4. This is the area of the sector minus area of the triangle. If it's a non-right angle triangle, the formula that we use is half AB sine C. However, if it's a right angle triangle, the formula that we use is half into base into height. We can all see that AOB is a right angle triangle. Therefore, the formula half into base into height is workable. We can follow that. Base is 6, height is also 6. We can see base and height are always perpendicular to each other. Base is 6, height is 6. So we can use the formula half into base into height. Then if you are going to subtract both, we are definitely going to get the right answer. Half into 6 root 2 whole squared into pi by 4 minus 18. And yes, we got the answer. In 5SF, we have to write it first, 10.274, and then we have to round it off to 10.3 centimeter square. Correct to three significant figure. Also, please remember that let's suppose, if a particular answer is to be used in a subsequent part. Let's suppose the arc length is 6.6643. And if arc length is to be utilized for some reason in part number 2, because the formula of arc length that we use, the formula of sector that we use is half r square theta. We would have used half rs also. This is also one of the formulas, half into radius into arc length. So if we are going to use the arc length in subsequent part, then the value of arc length that we are going to use is not going to be 6.66, but we are going to be using the more accurate version of the answer, that is 6.6643. So why do we write in 5 significant figures? Because if we do working in 5SF, because we use such figures for subsequent parts of the question. For subsequent parts of the question, we have to use the 5SF versions, right? So if over here we had to use the arc length, we would have used 6.6643 rather than 6.66. So the 3SF version is just meant just to give the answers of that particular part. But if we are going to use in subsequent parts, we are going to use a higher accuracy. Are we clear with it? Theta is not 6 for AOB. This is the area of the formula that we have used is half into base into height. Half into base into height. As I said, that as we are dealing with a right angle triangle, the formula for area is not half AB sine C, but it is half into base into height. For a non-right angle triangle, half into two lengths. One is named as A, other is named as B, and the included angle is taken with sine. So half AB sine theta. But for a right angle triangle, the base is 6. The 90 degree, we can see the 90 degree over here. AOB is right angled at O, so AO is the base and OB is the height. The formula is half into base into height, and we can find the area of the triangle using that. Are we clear with this question, or are there still any questions that you need to ask? Right. Take a screenshot so that we can move on to the next question. Right. Another question. The diagram shows a metal plate A, B, C, D, E, F, which has been made by removing the two shaded regions. As I said, the first part is to read the question very carefully, because if you are not going to read it properly, we are not going to solve it. We will not be able to solve it. The diagram shows a metal plate A, B, C, D, E, F, which has been made by removing the two shaded regions from a circle of radius 10. So over here we know that radius of the circle is 10. There was a big circle that we had, and out of that big circle we removed the two shaded regions which are no longer there. These regions have been removed, and these regions are known as segments. We should be knowing that if you are going to draw a circle and if you are going to draw a chord, then the region between the chord and this arc length, or we can say the region between the chord and the circumference of the circle, is known as the segment. And the smaller one is the minor segment, and the bigger one is the major segment, right? This is particularly taught in IGs, which has been made by removing the two shaded regions from a circle of radius 10 and center O. The parallel edges AB and ED are both of length 12. Now the examiner is telling me that AB and ED are parallel edges. AB and ED are parallel edges, and both of them are 12. Now, because the length of the chord is 12, so there's one property that we have studied in IGCSEs, that if two chords are of equal length, their distance from the center is also equal. Let me write that statement, because angle property of circle is very important and it is to be used in entire circular method. Two equal chords, the property is equal chords are equidistant from the center. If two chords are of equal length, then they are going to be equidistant from the center, right? So this means if both chords are of 12 centimeter, their distance from the center will also be same. O to ED and O to AB will be same. This also means, and another thing is that if you are going to join O and AB, O and B together, let's join them, O and B, and then join this O and A. So both of them are radius. Now we can see that both of these triangles are congruent triangles. Triangle AOB is congruent to triangle DOE. AOB and DOE are congruent triangles. Why? Because this is 12, this is 10 centimeters, this is also 10 centimeters. So these are congruent triangles. Similarly, the sector BOCD, this is a sector, this is a sector, this is again a sector, right? And both of these sectors are also congruent to each other. Now the parallel edges AB and ED are both 12. Part number 1 says show that the angle DOE is 1.287. This angle needs to be shown. Let me highlight it. DOE. This angle is to be shown. Angle DOE. Now how can we show this angle? We know that this is 10, this is 10. Now one shortcut method could have been, we could have used the cosine rule over here. Right? We could have used the cosine rule for finding this angle. However, let's suppose if we are not preferring cosine rule over here, what another property can be used? Although this is a non-right angle triangle, the triangle is non-right angled. Although the triangle is non-right angle triangle, still we can do it without using cosine rule. How come? How can we apply another rule? Because this non-right angle triangle is isosceles triangle. And the special property of isosceles triangle is that if we drop, if the two sides of the isosceles triangle are equal and the point at which the equal sides are meeting, if you're going to drop the perpendicular line from that point, it is going to bisect the base. I repeat my point. If the two lengths of a triangle are equal and they are meeting at a particular point, it's not essential that these two are equal. I guess any other two sides can also be equal, but whichever sides are equal, if they are meeting at a particular point, and if we are going to draw a perpendicular from that point, it will definitely bisect the base. So now over here, as we know that OD and OE are equal, and if we are going to drop a perpendicular, then the base will be bisected, and bisect means to cut into two equal halves. So this means this is 6 centimeters, this is 6 centimeters, right? This is 6, this is 10, this is 6, this is 10. Now what else can be done? This angle is to be found, right? This angle is to be found. So let's call it theta. So this is theta, this is also theta. But the examiner is saying to find the angle DOE. So if this is theta and this is theta, let's call it x. If DOX is theta, EOX is theta, then DOE is basically 2 theta. So what we can do, if we are going to use the cosine rule, we can directly find the value of DOE. However, if we are not preferring cosine rule because we do not remember, let's suppose in examination we do not remember the cosine rule, then in that case we can consider it an isosceles triangle because it is basically an isosceles triangle. And because of that, we can draw a perpendicular, we can convert it into two right angles, we can find the half angle first and then we can multiply by 2. So now if we are going to consider the triangle ODX, OXD. So this is 6, this is 10. Can we find this angle? Can we find theta? Yes, we can find. How? Because we have the opposite, we have the hypotenuse, and we can use sine theta. Sine theta is equals to opposite upon hypotenuse. Convert your calculators to radian mode and find the value of theta. Sine inverse 6 upon 10, the theta value is, the value of theta is 0.64350. Correct to 5 significant figures. As I said, accuracy 5 SF or higher. If someone is saying I will use 6 SF, 7 SF, 8 SF, no one is going to stop you. You can use as much accuracy as you want. But the minimum accuracy level that you need to use is of 5 SF, right? So now the value of theta over here would then be 0.64350. Now if someone is going to tell me that find the value of 2 theta, because DOE is basically 2 theta. So I'm going to multiply this by 2. The exact calculator value should be multiplied by 2. And I will then get 1.2870. 1.2870. Correct to 5 SF. Now in 5 SF, this is 1.287, but the examiner has asked us to give in 4 SF. In 4 SF, let's write the higher accuracy 002218. I've written the entire exact thing that my calculator showed. And when I'm going to write it into 4 SF, I'm going to write it 1.287 radians in 4 SF. So this will be my answer to part number 1. Always remember that when the examiner has asked us to show, whenever the word show is written by the examiner, we have to give our level best to show all possible steps. Because in such cases, examiner has a doubt that whether we have worked properly or whether we have given the answer directly. So every step has to be shown clearly so the examiner's doubt is removed and examiner is damn sure that you have done it the right way. Because if the answer is already given and you are bringing that answer, then this is not something extraordinary that you are doing. The answer is there. You just have to show how you reached till this answer. So that is particularly important. So whenever show is written, show all possible steps. I don't only solve the question, but I also make sure that I teach the examination techniques to you people so that in examination you just are able to recall the wordings that I'm using again and again, right? So part number 1 has been solved. Now let's move on to part number 2. In part number 2, the examiner is saying find the perimeter of the metal plate. Perimeter of the metal plate. Now we need to know that perimeter means sum of all boundaries. What is the meaning of perimeter? The meaning of perimeter is we have to add all possible boundaries together. Now if we talk about the metal plate, the name of the metal plate is A, B, C, D, E, F. The metal plate is A, B, C, D, E, F. Now how many boundaries are there? If we are going to write the perimeter, let's write the perimeter. Perimeter is AB plus arc BCD plus, because the two shaded regions have been removed. So the perimeter is, the metal plate is A, B, C, D, E, F, A. So all the boundaries are to be added together. If you have to find the perimeter of the shaded region, then all the boundaries surrounding the shaded region are to be added. When we are going to solve a particular question of perimeter, then I'm going to repeat this concept again. Over here, if you have to find the perimeter of the metal plate, then AB plus arc BCD plus DE plus DE plus arc AFE right? And what we know is AB is equals to DE and arc BCD equals to arc FE. Arc BCD is equals to arc AFE. So this means finding AB would result in automatically DE as well. And if we have found arc BCD, then we will get arc AFE as well, right? So how to find the length of AB now? We have already been given. Examiner has already given the length of AB and ED is 12. Now this is a good luck. We have been given this already. The perimeter AB is 12, DE is 12. Now how to find the arc BCD? How to find the arc BCD? BCD. Now this is a good question. Now when we have to find the arc BCD, we have to find angle BOD, because for finding the arc BCD, we need angle. The formula is r theta. The radius is already known. We know that radius is 10, but we do not know theta. Now, how can we find the angle theta? Now, let's call this angle theta alpha. If this is theta, this is alpha. So we have to find alpha. So let's say that if theta equals to alpha, then this is 10 alpha. Now, how to find the value of alpha? Theta is an angle, na? The name of the angle that we are using is alpha. So this means we have to find the angle alpha. How can we find the angle alpha? Now we need to use a brain for that. We know that angle B, there are two methods. BOE is a straight line. If you have drawn it properly, we can realize that BOE is a straight line. Now, when if BOE is a straight line and we have a part of it, to find the other part, we subtract it from 180. We have usually studied when we are dealing with angle in degrees. 180 minus angle on a straight line is 180. Let's suppose if this is 30, this will be 150. So we are going to subtract from 180. 30 is going to be subtracted from 180 to give us 150. Similarly, if BOE is a straight line, I'm writing it over here. BOE is a straight line. So if we have a part of it, and which is 1.287, then we will subtract from 180, and in radian we call 180 as pi. So angle BOD is pi minus 1.287. Pi minus 1.287, the angle that we are going to get is 1.8546, 5 SF, 1.8546. Now that we have found the value of BOD, which we have named as alpha, we are going to find the arc length BCD. Arc BCD would then be 10 into alpha, and alpha is 1.8546. So when we are going to multiply, we are going to get 18.546 centimeters. So the arc length BCD is 18.546. So I'm removing this and writing the perimeter over here. Part 2 is this. Perimeter is 12 plus 12, the length of AB and DE, and the arc BCD is 18.546, and the arc AFE is again 18.546. When we are going to add them together, we are going to get the answer. And the answer that we are getting of perimeter is 61.092, which if rounded off to three significant figure gives us 61.1 centimeters, as is the answer given in the marking scheme, and in the examiner report. 61.1 centimeter, correct to three significant figures. Are we clear with part 2 of this question, or do we have any doubts regarding to this? Please confirm. Right, clear. Now finding the last part of the question is area of the metal plate. For finding the area of the metal plate, we can see that there are two triangles that are involved. We have two triangles and we have two sectors. So adding the area of the two sectors and the area of the two triangles will give us the area of the metal plate. And how can we find the area of the two triangles? Although this is a non-right angle triangle, but because we have dx as 6 and ox is not given, ox is the height of the triangle. Can we find ox? If you are going to consider triangle OXD, X is the imaginary point that I have written. If you are going to consider triangle OXD, and if you are going to use Pythagoras theorem, then hypotenuse is 10, 10 square equals OX square plus 6 square. And we are going to get OX equals to 8. This means the length of OX is 8 centimeters. This means height of the triangle has been found. Now that we need the area of the metal plate, we are going to take the area of triangle 2 times, because we have two triangles. 2 times half into base into height. Base is 12, height is 8. 2 times area of triangle plus 2 times area of sector. Area of sector is half r square theta. Radius is 10, half 10 square, and the theta, basically the alpha that we need to take over here is 1.8546. If we are going to add them together, we are going to get the area. We have got 281.46, which when rounded off to 3SF becomes 281 centimeters square. Examiner is a bit lenient over here because examiner has said that 281 is the answer, but someone who has given 282 is also acceptable. Because we have been using the 5SF workings, and if someone has failed to do this, might get 282 or 283 or 284. Many different answers would have been they would have been getting different answers because of the premature approximation that the examiner has said one should not follow. So that is why the guidelines are working in 5SF and the final answer in 3SF. But over here 2 answers are acceptable. Any answer other than this will not be acceptable, and 1 mark for the final answer will be deducted. Please confirm if you are clear with part 3 as well, and take a screenshot, and so that we can move forward. All right. Another big question that we have to deal in question number 3. The diagram shows 2 circles, C1 and C2. What we are saying is every other question is of a different nature. So initially when we are solving multiple questions from the past papers, we are going to face a bit of difficulties because every question is different. And we have to apply one or the other skill in the question. Few questions require few particular skills, the other questions require the other skills. So what we need to be sure about is we should be solving at least 5 year past papers, so that we have covered a variety of different questions, so that if any one of the concepts are tested in the examination, we are not stuck down. The diagram shows 2 circles, C1 and C2. We can see as we are reading the question, keep referring to the diagram just to make sure that whatever is written can be seen in the diagram as well. So the diagram shows 2 circles, C1 and C2. Yes, we can see the circle C1 is a bigger circle. The circle C2 is a smaller circle. Circle C1 has center P. We can see, and radius 8. This circle center C1, the circle C1 has radius 8. The circle C2 has center Q and radius 2. Point R and S lie on C1 and C2. On C1 lies point R, on C2 lies point S. And RS is a tangent to both the circles. So the property over here that we need to recall is tangent is perpendicular to the radius drawn to the point of contact. Any radius that is drawn to the point of tangency, because PR is radius, PT is radius. Even if you are going to mark a point X, then that is also going to be the radius. Px is also radius, but Px will not be perpendicular to the tangent, because PR is the radius and R is the point of tangency. If we are going to draw a tangent at R, then PR will be perpendicular to the tangent. So one perpendicular is radius perpendicular to tangent, radius perpendicular to tangent from both sides, because the line is straight. On a straight line, angle sum is 180. This is also 90. This is also 90. This is also 90, right? But we do not require the other side, so let's not take it right now. These are 90-degree. Now the examiner is saying, show that RS is 8. Show that the length of RS is 8. Now we started thinking as to how can we find the length of RS. After thinking a lot, we realized that RS cannot be found directly, and that we need to draw an imaginary line. So that imaginary line would then be named as QS. Sorry, X. Let's mark it X. X is a point that we have marked. QX is the imaginary line that we have made. And now we know that QX is equals to RS. So this means if we have to find QX, then RS will automatically be found because both are equal. And now again, because XQ is a horizontal line, this will be a right angle triangle. Now in a right angle triangle, either we use the Pythagoras theorem or we use trigonometric ratios. So over here, if we check out, then center P is a center, right? From P till R is the radius. Similarly, from P, at times our thinking stays limited to one of the radiuses only. We need to keep our minds open. If P is the center, then from P till any point on the circumference will be the radius. So PR is the radius, PT is the radius, any point that lies between, that lies on the arc RT will also be from point P till that point will also be the radius. So there are so many radiuses in a circle. PR is 8, PT is also 8. So let's write PT is 8 centimeters. Now similarly QS is 2 and QT is also 2. How? Because Q is the center of the circle C2. Q is the center. From Q till the circumference is radius. This is also radius. So QS radius, QT radius. So now we know that the right angle triangle is PXQ. PXQ is a right angle triangle. We know PX is 8 centimeter. PXQ is a right angle triangle. What is PQ? PQ is equals to PT plus TQ. PQ equals PT plus TQ. Now PT is what? PT is 8 and TQ is 2. So 8 plus 2 gives us 10. So PQ is 10. How can we find XQ? Using Pythagoras theorem. So 10 square equals XQ square plus 8 square. If we are going to solve it, then the answer of XQ would be 6 centimeters. Ten square minus 8 square. Wait, my bad. I've done a mistake. Just need to overcome that mistake right now. Just give a minute. Listen, PX is not 8. PR is 8. PR is 8. And XR is not known. XR is equals to QS because it's a right rectangle. So now we know that XR is also 2 centimeters. So if XR is 2 and PR is 8, then PX would be 8 minus 2, 6 centimeters. So PX is 6 centimeters. So this means this is 6 centimeters. So x cube square plus 6 square, and then the x cube would be 8 centimeters, right? I mistakenly used 8 in place of px, although px is not 8, it is 6. Because pr is 8, xr is 2, so px would be 6 centimeters. This is 6, this is 2, the entire is 8. 8 is the entire value from here till here. Perfect. xq is 8 centimeter, and we know that xq is equals to rs. Therefore, rs is 8 centimeter. Hence shown. As I said, we have to be very clear with our workings so that the examiner has no doubt with regards to our working, and we secure full marks successfully. Then comes the part number 2 of the question, which says find angle RPQ. Find angle RPQ. We have to find angle RPQ. Now this again is a simple task because RPQ is the same as XPQ. Whether we call it RPQ or whether we call it XPQ, it is the same thing. RPQ and XPQ is the same thing. Ultimately, which matters is that the angle is RPQ, the angle is P, and we can find it in the right angle triangle. How can we find that? We have XQ, which is 8. This is the theta that we have to found. We can use SOHCAHTOA. We can use any of them. Let's use tan theta. Tan theta is equals to opposite, which is 8, upon adjacent, which is 6. Now theta is tan inverse of 8 over 6. And the answer is 0.927295. And if you are going to round it off, it becomes 292,730 in 5 significant figure. So the answer that we are going to give, because we were to give in 4 SF, the final answer is 0.9273 radians, correct to 3 significant figures. Sorry, 4 significant figures. Right? So we have successfully done part number 1 as well as part number 2. Now comes the last part of this question. Find the area of the shaded region. Find the area of the shaded region. Can I ask what should we do to find the area of the shaded region? Any particular methods that you can recall over here? Just look at it. We have already done 2 questions. This is the third one. I would expect if you can answer it. If you have to find the area of the shaded region, what needs to be found? How can we find the area of the shaded region? Someone can participate on voice message as well. I would say open your mics and communicate if you feel appropriate to do so, or you can type on the chat message as well, whatever deems fit for you. If few people cannot do, just say, sir, we are not able to do it. Right. So I've not got any responses. This means people are not able to do it, right? So let me solve it. To find the area of the shaded region, what we can do, if for the time being, if we remove this imaginary line, now look at this figure. What is actually required? What is required? Now we know, wait, let's bring it back. What to do? We have to find the area of 2 sectors, and we have to find the area of trapezium. Or we can say that area of PXQ, the triangle, and the XRSQ, the rectangle, both the areas are to be added to find the area of the trapezium. But what is better for me is, I would say, find the area of the trapezium directly. And after you have found the area of the trapezium RPQS, then subtract the two sectors to find the area of the shaded region. So let's develop this approach. Area of shaded region equals area of trapezium PQSR minus area of sector PRT minus area of sector QST, right? But for finding the area of the sector, the formula that we use is half R square theta. But do we have theta? Now comes the question, do we have theta? Yes, we have angle R, angle P. The angle P that we found, RPQ, the angle that we found in 4SF in part number 2 was 0.9273. Let's add this to the diagram. It's always better that we keep adding our answers to the diagram so that any answers that we have already found, we know that we have found them. Because at times something that has already been found, when we move on to the later part of the question, we think we have not been knowing this, although that was already found in the previous part. So it's always recommended that any answers that keep coming, just keep adding those to the diagram to make sure that you know that this has already been found, right? Yes, Musa.
Sir, we found the value of P by doing SOHCAHTOA, TOA, yeah?
Yes, exactly. We could have used sine theta,
So,
cos theta, or tan theta, anything. I use tan theta.
wait, so tan theta is opposite over adjacent.
Right.
But we don't have our, do we have our, yeah, okay, never mind, sorry.
Fine. Right.
Yeah.
Then if you have to find the area of the trapezium, for finding the area of the trapezium, we have the area of the trapezium that we should know is area is equals to half into height into sum of parallel sides. So over here, the parallel sides are RP and QS. And between the two parallel sides becomes the height, and XQ is the height. XQ is the height. So what is the value of XQ? We already know that RS and XQ are 8. So height is 8. So area of trapezium is half into height, which is 8, into sum of parallel sides. One of the parallel sides is RP, which is 8, and the other parallel side is SQ, which is 2. Area of trapezium has been found, then minus area of sector PRT. For finding the area of the sector PRT, we have radius half R square theta, radius is 8 square, theta is 0.9273, right? Then comes the second area of sector, which is again half R square theta, radius is 2 square, but we are not sure about the angle. How can we find this angle? How can we find angle SQT? We are able to find the angle XPQ in part number 2 of the question because that was asked, RPQ. But do we have SQT, the other angle of the sector? No, we don't have. So what we could have done, there are two possibilities. First, we can find out angle XQP, this one, and add pi by 2 because 90 degree is basically pi by 2 to find the angle Q. Or the other possibility is, which is an easier one, because RPQS is a quadrilateral. Any four-sided figure is a quadrilateral. So for a quadrilateral, sum of angles is 2 pi. Sum of angles equals 2 pi. 360 degree. Sum of all the angles is 360 degree, and in radians we call 360 as 2 pi. So sum of angles is 2 pi. So adding up all the angles and equating to 2 pi, so we will be able to find this angle. So let's let's name this angle as alpha. If you have to find, or let's call it SQT. So angle SQT plus this is 90, this is 90, which means pi by 2 plus pi by 2 plus pi by 2 plus 0.9273. These are four angles in total. Adding up all the four angles and equating it to 2 pi. Now we can find SQT. All the angles equate, add up all the angles and equate to 360 degree. But as we are dealing with the radians, equate it to 2 pi. So 2 pi minus pi by 2 minus pi by 2 minus 0.9273. So this is 2.2143. SQT is 2.2143 radians. Now that we have now that we have this angle, we can use this over here. Half r square theta, right? And then we are going to find the answer.
Okay, yes,
Yes.
sir, I got it.
We have
Yeah.
successfully got it, 5.8978.
Yeah.
And the answer is 5.90 centimeters square carried to three significant figures. Right, Valak? Are we
Yes.
clear with this question?
Yes.
We have understood it, how to solve the questions of circular measure?
Yes, sir, I've understood these questions.
Perfectly fine. So what you need to do is that you need to solve few questions independently on your own, because we have done the questions in class. I've made you people solve this question under my supervision. Now you have to solve the question on your own, and any problems, any queries that you have can be brought to me, right?
Okay,
Because
sir.
every question has a different nature. If you're going to practice more, then only will you be able to pick the questions in a better way,
Okay.
right? All right. See, then we are ending the class over here. See you both in the next class. Stay blessed.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care. Allah Hafiz.
Bye, sir.